The screen fades in from black. A pristine alien museum, bathed in soft blue light. An aged alien ambassador moves between glass cases, their 4 eyes reflecting ancient artifacts of war. A Roman gladius, a Mongolian composite bow, a katana that still holds its deadly edge after 1,000 years. The ambassador's voice trembles. How did we not see it? The signs were there all along. The scene shatters, literally explodes into a massive space battle. A sleek alien warship, proud and gleaming, fires its weapons at what appears to be a primitive human vessel. The shots pass straight through. The human ship isn't there. It never was. Behind the alien vessel, reality tears open. A massive black warship emerges, its hull drinking in starlight. More tears in space appear. Dozens, hundreds. Ships that shouldn't exist, using technology that breaks physics itself. The alien vessel fires again, and again. Each shot meets nothing but void. The black ship's response is devastating. One shot. Clean. Surgical. The alien vessel splits in 2, the cut so precise it looks almost beautiful. The scene shifts to an underground facility on Mars. 25 years earlier, a woman stands before a dark vessel, her hand tracing patterns in its impossible hull. The greatest deception, she says, wasn't hiding our technology. It was hiding our nature, back to the space battle. The alien ambassador watches from his command ship as his fleet burns. His translator picks up a transmission from the human vessels. You thought you knew what humanity was capable of. You thought we were weak. A pause. Now you know better. This is only the beginning. Text appears. They found our history. They demanded answers. They weren't ready for the truth. In the year 2157, humanity made first contact with the galactic community. A dozen advanced civilizations, each with centuries or millennia of spacefaring experience. Their ships could bend gravity. Their weapons could shatter moons. Their technology seemed nothing short of magical. And there we were, Earth, small, young, our ships barely able to reach Mars without breaking down, our weapons primitive by their standards, our technology laughably basic. They welcomed us, of course. The Crians, the Xan, all of them. They saw another young race to guide, to teach, to mentor. They offered us basic drive systems, simple shield harmonics, outdated weapon designs. We accepted everything with eager gratitude, asked questions, made mistakes, showed them our clumsy orbital shipyards, demonstrated our stuttering attempts to copy their technology. Such potential, they would say, patting us on our metaphorical heads. In a few centuries, you might even build a proper fleet, but they never asked about our history, never wondered why a species that could barely handle shield harmonics had such extensive military records, never questioned why a primitive race kept so many ancient weapons preserved so perfectly. They didn't notice how carefully we studied their defenses, how methodically we tested their reactions, how systematically we probed their weaknesses. For 25 years, we played our role. The eager students, the primitive humans, the galactic community's newest project. Then came the attack on New Eden Colony. 2 million human lives, snuffed out by the Crian Empire to send a message. They thought they were teaching humanity its place in the galaxy. Instead, they learned why every human history book is also a military record, why every human peace treaty comes with battle plans, why every human handshake comes with a hidden blade. They wanted to know what humanity was capable of. They were about to find out. Operation Paper Dragon began the day after first contact. While alien diplomats celebrated humanity joining the galactic community, Commander Akiko Tanaka walked through a secret facility deep beneath the Martian surface. Her footsteps echoed through a cavern that stretched for kilometers, filled with technology that would make those same diplomats choke on their congratulatory drinks. The facility's name was Dragon Forge. Its existence violated 16 different galactic treaties. The prototype vessel suspended in its center broke several laws of physics. Beautiful, isn't she? Captain C, later Admiral, stood beside the vessel. His hand traced patterns in the quantum resonance hull, technology the aliens thought was centuries beyond human capability. They think we're struggling with basic shield harmonics. But that was the point. Every stumble was calculated, every failure engineered, every request for help carefully crafted to probe alien defenses, test their responses, understand their weaknesses. On Titan, hidden beneath kilometers of ice, humans built ships that could phase through solid matter. On Europa, quantum weapons that ignored the laws of physics took shape in underwater forges. On Mars, the Dragon fleet grew. The aliens never questioned why humanity showed such interest in their obsolete weapons. Never wondered why we accepted their outdated drive systems with such enthusiasm. Never noticed how each technology exchange revealed more about their capabilities than ours. In classified briefings, Tanaka explained humanity's unique advantage, a continuous warrior culture stretching back thousands of years. While they evolved past their violent stages, we preserved ours, refined it, computerized it. The aliens saw what they expected to see. A young race, technologically primitive, eager to learn. They never questioned why humanity's primitive sensors could detect their stealth ships. Never wondered why our basic shields always seemed calibrated to their exact frequencies. In her office deep within Titan's ice crust, Tanaka displayed artifacts spanning human military history. A samurai sword, Roman legion standards, Mongol composite bows. Not decorations, reminders. The Spartans, the Mongols, the samurai, the Marines, she told her dragon pilots. We didn't abandon their teachings. We quantified them, built them into every ship and weapon we designed. For 25 years, humanity played the part of the eager student. We built clumsy ships in orbital yards while Dragon Forge produced vessels that would make alien scientists weep. We struggled with basic quantum theory while our labs broke physics itself. The deception was total. The aliens saw our orbital shipyards. They never saw the world forges hidden in dark space, massive constructs capable of turning entire planets into warships. They monitored our primitive defense fleet. They never detected the Dragon squadrons waiting in quantum space. Every trade deal, every technology exchange, every diplomatic mission served the same purpose. Know your enemy. Learn their capabilities. Prepare their downfall. Sun Tzu would have been proud. All warfare is based on deception, he wrote. For 25 years, humanity crafted the greatest deception in galactic history. We didn't just hide our technology, we hid our nature. The aliens forgot what it meant to be warriors. They evolved past it, thinking themselves civilized. But humanity? We just got better at it. More efficient, more deadly. When the Crian Empire finally decided to test humanity's strength, they thought they were facing a primitive species barely able to defend its colonies. They never imagined that every primitive human ship was a sensor platform, every failed weapons test a probe of their defenses, every outdated drive system an analysis of their capabilities. They thought they were starting a war. They were springing a trap 25 years in the making. New Eden colony blazed in nuclear fire. 2 million human lives extinguished in an instant. The Crian Empire's message was clear. Know your place in the galaxy. They expected humanity to break, to beg, to surrender. In a command center beneath Titan's ice, Commander Tanaka watched the destruction feeds. Her face showed no emotion as she activated a quantum comm channel that hadn't been used in 25 years. Operation Paper Dragon is now active. Release the first wave. In high orbit above the Crian Empire's most fortified outpost, reality tore open. 3 ships emerged, but not the primitive human vessels the aliens had come to expect. These ships drank in starlight, their dark forge hulls decorated with patterns that seemed to shift and change as you watched them. Dragon-class destroyers, the tip of humanity's hidden spear. The Crian Defense Fleet responded instantly, bringing their most advanced weapons to bear. Energy beams capable of splitting moons lashed out. Quantum torpedoes designed to shred space itself screamed toward the human vessels. Every shot passed through empty space. The dragons weren't there. They never were. Impossible, the Crian admiral whispered, watching his tactical display. The human ships moved in ways that violated physics. They appeared in multiple places simultaneously. They phased through solid matter, as if reality itself was optional. Then the dragons responded. The first shot came from everywhere and nowhere. A Crian heavy cruiser split in half. The cut, so precise it looked almost surgical. Before the pieces could drift apart, 2 more Crian vessels suffered the same fate. No warnings, no demands, no mercy. The Crian fleet, 300 of their most advanced warships, brought every weapon to bear. The space around the dragon ships blazed with enough firepower to glass a continent. Not a single shot connected. Message received from Crian High Command. A communications officer reported in the lead dragon ship. They're demanding to know what we are. Fleet Commander Blackwood smiled. It wasn't a pleasant expression. Show them. More quantum breaches opened. 12 this time. Then 50. Then hundreds. Dragon-class ships emerged in perfect formation, their impossible drives letting them ignore the laws of physics that bound their enemies. The Crian fleet's formation shattered. Their ships, the pride of their military, looked like toys next to the dragon's dark majesty. When they fired, their shots met void. When the dragons responded, their weapons simply ignored shields, armor, and the basic laws of reality. In the Crian war room, the High Command watched in horror as their most heavily defended outpost turned into a graveyard of broken ships and shattered stations. Not a single human vessel showed even a scratch. What have we done? The Crian War Minister whispered. What have we awakened? The answer came in the form of more quantum breaches, more dragon ships, more impossible weapons. Their best scientists babbled incoherently about broken physics as human vessels executed maneuvers that should have turned their crews to paste. Every shot, every maneuver, every tactic showed the same terrible truth. Humanity hadn't just prepared for this war. They'd spent 25 years designing weapons specifically to counter Crian technology. Their armor absorbed the exact energy frequencies of Crian weapons. Their shields bypassed Crian defenses as if they didn't exist. This is Fleet Commander Blackwood. The transmission cut through every frequency, every encryption. You wanted to see humanity's real face? Take a good look. What followed wasn't just a battle. It was a demonstration. Dragon squadrons moved in perfect synchronization, their quantum drives treating space itself as a suggestion rather than a law. Their weapons ignored the difference between possible and impossible. In 20 minutes, the most powerful fleet in the Crian Empire ceased to exist. As the dragons prepared to vanish back into quantum space, Blackwood made one final transmission. The ships you've seen before? Nothing but decoys. Masks we wore while we prepared. Now you get to see what dragons can do. The carriers vanished, leaving behind a scene of devastation that would send shockwaves through the galaxy. Within hours, reports reached every major power. Reports of human ships that ignored physics, of weapons that shouldn't exist, of defenses that made mockery of advanced alien technology. And humanity had made it look easy. The Crian homeworld hung in space like a jewel, its 3 moons casting purple shadows across its oceans. Above it, the remnants of their defense fleet formed a broken ring of debris, a monument to their final, desperate stand. Then space itself began to tear. Not 3 quantum breaches this time. Not 12. Not even 100. 1,000 ruptures in reality opened simultaneously, forming a perfect sphere around the entire Crian star system. From each breach emerged a Dragon-class warship, each one larger than anything humanity had revealed before. In the grand chamber of the Crian High Command, Supreme Leader Vex watched the tactical displays with something beyond fear. The human ships had surrounded them so perfectly, so completely, that it looked like a work of art, a beautiful, terrifying display of absolute military superiority. Your entire species, Admiral Can's transmission reached every device, every screen, every communication system in the system, needs to understand what happens next and why it happens. The Dragon fleets began to move. Their formations shifted like a vast geometric dance, each ship moving in perfect synchronization with 1,000 others. As they moved, they revealed something that made Vex's heart stop. A massive construct emerged from quantum space, larger than any artificial structure ever recorded. Its surface rippled with enough energy to remake worlds, or unmake them. That, Kin continued, is a world forge, currently positioned to strip the atoms from your homeworld and use them to manufacture more Dragon-class ships. A pause. We have 6 more, by the way. Would you like to see them too? Supreme Leader Vex pressed the emergency broadcast button. Please, he said, voice shaking. We surrender unconditionally. Funny thing about surrender, Kin replied. His hologram appeared in the chamber, so perfect it looked solid. You assumed we wanted it. The chamber doors opened. Commander Lyra Martinez walked in, her dress uniform pristine, her eyes hard as diamonds. Behind her came the holograms of the new Eden colony survivors. 2 million faces filling the air. 2 million voices, Martinez said quietly. 2 million lives, and you snuffed them out to send a message. The world forge began to pulse with energy. The Dragon fleets moved again, taking positions that could eliminate every major population center in seconds. Well, message received, Martinez continued, raising her hand. The fleet stopped. The world forge powered down. And now we're going to send one back. Vex blinked all 4 eyes in confusion. I don't understand. Admiral C stepped forward, his hologram moving with perfect fluidity. Humanity's strength isn't in our weapons, Supreme Leader. It's not in our ships or our technology or our deceptions. It's in our ability to choose. The tactical displays showed more ships arriving, but these weren't warships. Construction vessels, terraforming platforms, medical ships. Right now, C continued, we're choosing not to become the monsters you thought we were. Martinez outlined the terms. Complete military surrender, weapons decommissioned, the Crian Empire becoming a protectorate of Earth. And in exchange, she smiled, but there was steel in it. We show you what humanity is really best at. Not just fighting wars, but ending them. Not just breaking worlds, but building them better. The displays showed the first wave of reconstruction ships moving into position. Where weapons platforms had stood, medical stations began to form. Where military bases had dominated, centers of learning took shape. You wanted to know humanity's true face? Kin asked. Here it is. We can be your worst nightmare or your strongest ally. We can remake your worlds into ash or help you forge them into paradise. The choice, for the first time in your species' history, isn't yours. It's ours. Vex looked at the faces of the new Eden survivors, at the overwhelming power of the Dragon fleets, at the impossible technology humanity had hidden for so long. And finally, he understood. They hadn't just been preparing for war. They'd been preparing for peace. A peace enforced not by fear, but by the demonstrated ability to transform fear into hope. We accept, Vex said quietly. And thank you. Martinez nodded. Lesson learned? Yes, Vex replied. Never wake the dragons. Wrong, Kin corrected. The lesson is, the dragons were never sleeping. We were just waiting to see who was worthy of flying with us. Above the Crian homeworld, the Dragon fleets began to transform. Their weapon ports sealed, replaced by construction arrays. Their quantum drives, once used to tear reality apart, now gently reshaped it to heal the scars of war. The dragons, it seemed, were as skilled at creation as they were at destruction. 6 months after the Crian surrender, their capital city looked nothing like the military stronghold it had once been. Construction crews worked alongside Dragon-class ships, their Darkforge hulls now housing terraforming equipment instead of weapons. Where missile silos had stood, gardens bloomed. Where war rooms had plotted conquest, children of both species learned each other's languages. The World Forge, once poised to unmake planets, now created medical supplies and construction materials. In her office on the transformed Crian military headquarters, Commander Martinez watched the reconstruction efforts. A group of human engineers taught Crian scientists the principles behind quantum resonance drives. Nearby, Crian architects showed humans how to build structures that could last millennia. They're adapting faster than expected, Admiral Khan noted, his hologram appearing beside her. Their military efficiency translates well to reconstruction. Martinez nodded, studying the latest progress reports. 50 former military bases converted to research centers. 30 weapons manufacturing plants transformed into medical facilities. Hundreds of warships rebuilt into exploration vessels. They're beginning to understand, she said. The Dragon fleet was never about destruction. It was about potential. Below her window, a former Crian War minister worked with human terraforming experts, using his strategic knowledge to optimize the restoration of damaged ecosystems. His military precision, once used to plan invasions, now calculated the best ways to bring life back to wounded worlds. Some still fear us, Khan observed. Good, Martinez replied. Fear of consequences kept humanity's warrior nature in check for millennia. It taught us to build instead of destroy, to protect instead of conquer. A Dragon-class carrier passed overhead, its quantum drives gentle now, helping to stabilize the planet's weather patterns. The same technology that could tear reality apart could also heal it. They thought we were monsters, Martinez continued, watching Crian children playing in a park that had once been a tank depot. They never understood that humanity's greatest strength isn't our capacity for violence. It's our ability to choose peace, even when war would be easier. The latest reports showed the progress. Crime rates plummeting, education levels soaring, medical breakthroughs emerging from combined human-Crian research teams. The same determination that had built the Dragon fleet now drove the greatest reconstruction effort in galactic history. We gave them a choice, Khan said. Become our enemies and face extinction, or become our allies and help build something greater than either of our species could achieve alone. Martinez smiled as another group of Crian scientists arrived for training, and they chose wisely. The dragons, it turned out, had never been weapons of war. They were tools of transformation, capable of destroying worlds or rebuilding them. The choice had always been there. Humanity had simply waited for someone worthy of making it with them. 1 year after the Crian surrender, Ambassador Zark stood before the Galactic Council. The chamber fell silent as he delivered his final report on humanity's emergence as a galactic power. The humans have a saying, he began, his ceremonial robes feeling heavier than usual. Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. We failed to learn, failed to see, and in doing so, we gave them exactly what they needed, an excuse to stop pretending. The holographic displays showed the transformation of former Crian worlds. Military bases turned into universities, weapon forges producing medical breakthroughs. The dragons, proving as masterful at creation as they had been at destruction. To any who might consider following our example, Zarks continued, looking directly at the more militant council members, I offer this warning. That primitive human ship you're scanning? It's probably a Dragon-class destroyer watching you back. That outdated human colony? Likely sitting on top of a world forge. And that diplomatic request for technological assistance. He allowed himself a small laugh. Well, let's just say humans have an interesting sense of humor. Above Earth, Commander Martinez watched the speech from the bridge of her new ship, a Dragon-class carrier named Second Chances. Behind her, quantum breaches opened as more vessels returned from their patrols. Some ships of war, others of peace, all ready to serve either purpose. The message was clear. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in having the biggest teeth, but in choosing when not to bite. The dragons had revealed themselves to the galaxy, but they hadn't just shown their power to destroy. They demonstrated their power to transform, to rebuild, to forge something greater from the ashes of conflict. The galaxy had learned its lesson. The dragons weren't weapons to be feared, but guardians to be understood. And they were always watching, waiting to see who else might be worthy of flying alongside them in the endless dark between the stars.